Welcome to an all new episode of Convos with Three. I am your host, Sharita. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and giving all the love. So, with that, let's go ahead and get started with this new episode. So quite a bit's been going on, but I first have to start off by just saying congrats to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Yes, we finally got our president and our vice president in office. The old administration is out and we got the new one in. Yes, you just don't know how happy I am, along with thousands and millions of other Americans. Yes, I know. So, I know you all watched the inauguration just like I did. And I'm going to say I got on social media and was very happy with the ladies. I loved seeing all the love and support for Kamala with your chucks and pearls. That was really cute. But, I was a little, upset, disappointed because somehow I did not get the memo that we were supposed to be doing chucks and pearls for Kamala. I didn't see a text. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't see a Facebook. I didn't see a nothing, a poster, nothing saying, hey, we're going to support Kamala, wear your chucks and your pearls. But you know what? It's cool. It's cool. I still enjoyed it. I love seeing that. It definitely is history, the first woman, the first black woman in that high of a position as vice president. That's great. That's great. It's really something for our kids to get to see, and then the next generation. So it's like we already had our first black president. Now we got our first black woman vice president. Who knows? Maybe one year our first black woman president. Hoping for it. We shall see what happens. But another thing I will say I was living for off the internet was definitely the memes. Definitely the memes. Soon as the inauguration was on, I already knew. I was like, you know what? When I went on social media, yes, I saw the chucks and the pearls. But I also went on there because I knew somebody was already going to be cutting up. And I was ready for it. I was ready for it. I love to laugh. So, they was hitting with the memes from George Bush, always following and finding Michelle Obama. Then you had the Bill Clinton sleep. Then, of course, the big bird that sat on Lady Gaga's dress or whatever she had going on. And then, of course, to top it off, the Bernie Sanders memes. And when I was watching the inauguration, I do remember seeing Bernie, but I don't remember seeing him by himself like that. So it kind of was fun. Like I was like, at what point, who catches this stuff? He's like, how? I'm watching it, but I'm not. I don't know. I didn't see all of this, but maybe I wasn't 100% watching it because I was trying to help my little one with homework. But at the same time, I'm watching it. But I'm like, how do they catch this stuff so fast? I already have a meme for it and it's out there. But it was great. It was funny. I laughed so much on that. Also, this past weekend, I know Joe Biden's been signing a bunch of orders. And one of them, of course, we're all looking for that new stimulus package, which I'm one of the Americans hoping it gets passed. I know some people are like, well, we've already had two, but I'm like, you know what? We need this. It's hard times on us Americans. Yes, things are kind of opening back up. People are getting back to work, but you have to realize a lot's changed within this past year. Like my household, I definitely know was affected by this. When Corona first hit Texas, the Dallas, Texas area, when we switched to working from home, which was a blessing at that point for me because I no longer had to do the 45-minute drive. So I was like, oh, this is great. I finally get to work from home. This is great. But then as time goes on, of course, I'm there, but so are my children. And then all of a sudden you have to become a teacher. I'm like, whoa, I I found a whole new appreciation for teachers when COVID hit, I must say. that was tough. It still is because my kids are still homeschooled. So I still have to be a teacher and, mama plus teacher, but really it's just mama because there's no such thing as me being a teacher. Get it done or, you in trouble. So, but with that is like the kids are home. So now I have to provide them their lunch, their breakfast, their lunch every day. And you were counting on that school lunch because your kids got fed throughout the day. So it's like now they're home 24/7. They're using up all your electric. They're eating. And I have two boys. So they love to eat. They love to snack. It's a lot. So I found myself, instead of going to the grocery store twice a month for like big groceries, I'm going like every week. I have to go get new stuff. And it's like most of my money now is going on groceries, on food. And when they come with the stimulus and they're like, well, no, you don't need it. People are going back to work, this and that. Yeah, but food, groceries have went up. Things are a little higher because I'm spending more on groceries than I was ever before. And the price of some of the meats have gone up and just everything. So it's like even when you go to fast food, you notice that those prices have gone up. So when those Republicans are in the office trying to debate what they need to give us, it's like, do you not think of the average American person? Not you, because you're already making your money, you're rich, and you probably don't need the help. But think about us middle class folks that, yes, we may have a 2-income household, or you may just, be doing okay. We need help too. And it's like they're not thinking about us. They're only thinking about the low class, which is, I don't know what the income would be for that, but the low class or the rich. And they don't think about in between. And we're the ones that need the help. Our tax money is helping pay this. Why can't we get some of that help back? So I'm really hoping he passes it because I know my household could use it like many other Americans can use it too. So come on, Joe, get that passed. Okay, so let's move on. So last Thursday, I watched the Ashanti versus Keisha Cole versus. Now, when I first heard of this combo, I was excited. I'm Team Ashanti. I was ready for it. And of course, that one got canceled. And then they came up with another date, the January 9th. And I was like, hey, you know what? I might do like a little listening party. My house is close to my birthday, so I was like, I might invite a couple ladies over, let's do something. But then of course that one got canceled too. And then so this one came out and it happened. I must say, although I lived for Ashanti, I was there for, her songs was great. She, played her jams, but I was a little disappointed in it. One, because they were both late, and then Keisha Cole was even later than Ashanti was. And then two, it just didn't have like that. You couldn't get into it. I'm going to say that. I guess because they had to sit down. They couldn't get up and sing. Whatever shirt Keisha Cole had on the top, it wasn't working, and she just kept on moving. It was like, you couldn't get into it because you was distracted by both of them. Of course, love Ashanti, but she played in her hair too much. It was a lot going on. Then they're talking, and Keisha Cole gets up while Ashanti's doing her thing. Ashanti talking to other people while Keisha Cole doing her thing. So it's like you really couldn't get into it and enjoy it like, it should have been. But I will say, I was Team Ashanti. My husband was Team Keisha Cole. Although he only stayed for about 2 songs before he checked out on me and disappeared into another room and left me watching it by myself. And then just asked me at the end who won. Because he really didn't care. But it was all right. I mean, I really only paid much attention to Ashanti's songs. Keisha Cole did, she did a lot of singing, which I expected of her. But I never been that big of a Keisha Cole fan, so I knew some of her songs. I didn't know all of them. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. And I know people are about like, what? Come on now. But seriously, I was never that big of a Keisha Cole fan. I love some of her songs, I will say that, but I wasn't, I don't have a Keisha Cole album. I may have a few songs on a playlist, but I don't have an album. But of course, I got some Ashanti albums, and even like her new stuff. I know she's like pretty much do her own, got her own label and do her own thing now, and I still love her to this day. So I don't know how you guys felt about it, but those were my thoughts on it. I wasn't that happy with it, but it was what it was. I know they were saying it was one of the highest ratings, which is surprising. Although the big names that have gone before them, but hey, they did do their thing. But it just was, to me, it wasn't just as interesting as I knew it could have been because of all the distractions that they had going on during their time. So, okay, with that, let's switch gears. I got a new letter this week, which I'm excited about. It's asking for some advice. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this letter. Dear Convos with Ree, I am in need of some outside advice. My husband and I have been together for 14 years and married for 10 years. We have 3 children together. When I met my husband, I worked a low-income job and lived with my parents. He had his own place and a good-paying job. When we got together, I was able to quit my job and become a stay-at-home wife and then mom. Wow, that's great. I enjoy not working and being home with my kids. Over the years, things have changed. Of course, the kids started school. I'm home alone, and I noticed that my husband works a lot. Yes, I know he has a household to provide for, but the problem is that it seems as if we're distant. We barely have time for each other. We argue a lot, and our sex life is non-existent. Oof, ouch. I thought with the quarantine, things would get better, but they seem to have gotten worse. I am here with the kids all day, and he's gone to work. I have mentioned some of my feelings to him, but of course, it just leads to an argument. I'm at the point where I'm unhappy in my marriage, but I want to make it work because of our kids and the life we have built together. I'm confused on which directions to take. Please help. Thank you. Signed, Confused. Wow. Let's see where to start with this one. So, Confused, thank you for the letter. I always appreciate them, and like I said, I love to help anywhere I can. So, getting into some advice for you. First, I'm going to say I commend you on making it 14 years in a relationship and 10 years of marriage with your husband. Lord knows, I know how much work that is, and that you put into it, because marriage is definitely, it's love, but it's also a job that you have to work very hard at. I see where you mentioned that when you first met him, he had a great paying job, had his own place. So I'm assuming you moved in with him and you were able to quit your job and just be a stay-at-home wife. And then when you started having kids, you became a stay-at-home mom, which is great. A lot of us, like wish that we could do that. But, nowadays, of course, it takes a 2-income household, 2 incomes to run a household. So, congrats on that one if you could be a stay-at-home mom, But I see where it starts to turn when you said that over the years that things have changed. Your kids started going to school. You noticed that your husband worked because you were home alone a lot of the times. And you started feeling like you've gotten distant with him, and you guys were always arguing and so forth. And you were hoping that with COVID coming down and everybody being under quarantine, that, that would make you guys spend time together, be home, and get that family bond back. But what I want to ask you is, do you think or have you've set aside and just thought like, what role do I play in this? I'm not gonna say that you're trying to blame everything on your husband here, but it seems to me that I'm not sure what you do with yourself now, or with your time, or what you were doing with your time when your kids started school and they were gone for that period of time, and then you noticed that you were home alone, and then your husband, where you were missing some companionship in that part of time because your kids were no longer filling that void. Because of course, when our babies are first born, we're busy with them. We're home with them, we're busy. And you have 3 of them, so I'm not sure of the ages, but within a 10-year span, 14-year span, I know it's not that big of gaps between them. So I know that you were constantly busy with kids, and that filled up a lot of your time. But then once the last one got old enough to go to school, they're gone for a majority of the day. And then when they come home, it's just homework, eat, go to sleep, and then start the day over again. So I'm wondering if you ever thought to yourself, yes, it's great to be an at-home wife and mom, but is something missing? Are you missing something in your life? At this time, I will say, I'm an at-home mom and wife. I don't work. I did get, with COVID, I did end up getting laid off my job. So, but I found other things to occupy my time. I started a business. I'm starting this podcast. So I have other things to fill my time, so I'm not just bored. I'm just like, you're bored. You don't have anything going on else in your life, and then I feel like part of you is like the distance with your husband is possibly because you have like a little jealousy of him because he gets to go out and be gone, and of course he's working, but he's not home sitting there like you. And then of course with quarantine going on, if you're home majority of the time and then you're home with all your kids, it's like stress. It's stressful. I will say, like, at the beginning for me, when I started, I was working from home for for a while, and then I had to homeschool when I'm my oldest, because he was able to do his own work, but my 11-year-old, I had to help him. So it's like trying to do a full-time job plus trying to be teach him and get him to get his schoolwork. So it's stressful. I get it, and then once I did get laid off from my job, I did at one point, I was like, what am I going to do with myself? And, I am the person, when things bother me, I had to reach a point in my life, like, I can't hold that stuff in because it eats at you inside, and it creates something in you, and you'll lash out on someone. When it does finally come out, you'll lash out. So I've learned to let it out. So whenever anything's bothering me, I go straight to my husband. He's the only, he's the one that lives with me. He's my partner. He's, your best friend. So he's the one I go to, whether it's about him or if it's not about him. He's going to know I have a problem. So, when I got laid off, of course, everyone has a job or they have a career. I unfortunately had a job. I didn't care for my job, but it paid the bills. And first thing he told me was like, you know what? Hey, don't stress out about finding you another job. Find out what you want to do. Do that. And then, because he said, I don't want you working another job where you just work to work. And so we had that discussion, but then, I sat and I was like, what the hell do I want to do with myself? It's like, so I did tend to fall into like a little mini depression myself because I wasn't, you're not happy. So when you're not happy, your household is not happy because you in turn kind of take things out on them and you don't realize what you're doing. So I'm thinking, reading your letter, I will say, I don't know how good of communication that you and your husband have, because communication is key to a relationship. My husband and I didn't always have it, but we had to learn it. So to get to the point where we are today, we communicate. I'm not one to tell no one to not go to counseling. Him and I had to go to counseling because we were at the part where we felt we were distant with each other. We weren't getting through to each other, and everything just seemed like a fight. This was what, 8 years ago, maybe we were at this point. So around close to around this time that you guys are. So it's like you get in those modes, like, so. But talking to my counselor, it makes you realize more than just the surface problem. The surface problem may be communication, but there's other things going on underneath that. So with you, I'm thinking you have something inside you that you're wanting to do. Maybe you need to do a getaway. And I don't mean like a girls' yay trip getaway. No, I mean maybe you just need to take a day or two or a weekend, go somewhere, clear your mind, get away from the kids, the stress of the kids, the stress of your husband, and figure out what you want to do. Because in life we grow and we evolve. At that point when you first met your husband, yeah, you probably didn't want to. You were still starting on having kids. You didn't want to work. Who would? I didn't. When I first had kids and stuff, I wanted to be home with my babies. But of course, things don't always allow you to do those things, but you were able to. So I'm not sure what age you were. I don't know. I've been with my husband since I was 19 years old. So when I had my kids kind of young. So of course, you're not really thinking so much of a career or like doing things. Your husband's working, he's taking care of everything. So you just want to be home and raise the kids. Get it. I totally get it. So you're not, but now you're probably at an age where you've matured a lot's going on, different things in the world is going on. You see all these boss women coming up, doing their own thing, and it's great. I have a lot of friends that are starting their own businesses, that are doing things, and you see all of this. So I'm not sure what kind of women friends you have, that you may have those same type. And you see that, so it motivates you to want to do something, but you just don't know how or where to start or what to do. But it's something in you, I feel, that you're wanting to do, and it's building up. So you're at the build up, and your husband is not making it any better because he's not seeing the signs that something is wrong in his own marriage, which we will fault him, because a man should know his wife. He should. There's no doubt about that. When you can tell when a difference in your wife. She's not the same woman who I met so many years ago. She's grown. She's not herself. That's what my husband tells me. You're not being yourself. That's what he'll tell me. So he knows. But he probably, since your communication is not great, he don't know how to express himself to you, and you don't know how to really express yourself to him, to hear each other. So my advice to you would be, you and your husband definitely need to sit down and talk about this. Because one thing what I'm not understanding is when you said your sex life is non-existent. See, silence, I don't even know what to say to that one, because I don't know what man can go very long without any sex. I just don't. I know mine wouldn't. He's, even if he mad at me, if he might go 2-3 days, but that's a wrap. He'll come apologize to me just so it can get back on. So I'm that part I don't understand. So you and him definitely need to have a good conversation. If you feel the two, if you cannot come together and communicate, you need to seek some counseling. There's nothing wrong with counseling. It helps. It really does. It gives you that foundation that you lost. And it definitely worked for my husband and I. We went to counseling. It's on your own terms. You go however long you want. You go to how many sessions you need. And the great thing about counseling was the fact that although we did have our couples counseling, we had our individual to help us work on things with ourselves. So I knew a lot of our issues at that time. I had a lot of grieving going on. I had, I think I got laid off from a job, so I had a lot going on, and I was taking it out on him as well. And I wasn't, being the best wife at that time. So we can't just always be quick to put everything on our husband and say, well, I'm not happy. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. You have to turn around and look at yourself as well and see what you're doing wrong too in this to get your marriage back on track. And, one thing I want to say, where you said you want to make it work, and that's great, because it doesn't sound like you guys have major issues. It seems like it can be worked out. It just needs some communication needs to be going on here, and then you need to let your husband, hey, I need some sex. If you need it, you need it. We have our wants and we have our needs. So it's definitely some conversations need to be going on in your household. I also want to, with the part where you said that you want to make it work, because of your kids and the life that you guys built. I am 100% a believer in saying I don't believe a couple should stay together just for their kids, because no kids want to see grow up in a household where their parents aren't happy, because they have to see this. They live this. They don't see that love between mom and dad. And you know what? When they grow up, since they're not being taught that love, they're not going to have it in their own relationships. So, never say you want to stay in a relationship because your kids, they will eventually understand mom and dad just couldn't get along. It didn't work out. But I'm not seeing here where, from your words in this letter, that it's something that can't be worked out. I just think you need to take some time, do some soul searching for yourself, see what it is that you're wanting to do with your life now. If you still want to just be an at-home mom with kids, and that's what fulfills you, great. But it seems like something is definitely missing. You're not being fulfilled in some kind of way, and it's not just your husband not fulfilling you. And that's probably what's making that distance come between you and your husband, because you are not yourself. And he probably feels it, and he just stays away. So you two definitely need to talk. Sit down. Maybe you and him tell him, babe, we need to set a weekend aside. You and him, but first you just need to get yourself clear. Think what you need. Then you and him have a talk, and then if you guys can have a good conversation together, like, this is bothering, we need to spend more time, you and him need to schedule just do a getaway. There's cabins, there's places you can go. With COVID going on now, there's places you can go to isolate yourself somewhere, where you don't have to be in the hustle bustle of a big city and all that. You can find like little getaways, even if it's just a staycation, but you just go in, get a nice hotel for a weekend and spend the weekend together. So it's lots of things that you can do to still spend time together, because that is very important in a relationship. As I tell my husband, and he knows, I need my date nights. I set aside times at least once a month. Him and I have to do something together. We cannot go a whole month without just going our ways, because he works a lot too. And with COVID, his job really picked up. So he works even more than he did before COVID hit. So I need my time, So he still has to make sure he makes time for his wife. And if he doesn't, he definitely will hear my mouth. So do not be afraid to voice your opinion to your husband, but just do it in a way where he will listen. Because men don't respond to nagging, just hollering and all of that. Just talk to him like you will want to be talked to. That's how I'm going to say it. Because that's how I found me being able to communicate with my husband the way I do. And he listens, we will definitely have some more episodes where me and him will share some of that with you guys, because we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about each other. And I would say we were at that point in our relationship where he can tell you he knows me. Like, every woman has that. I can manipulate my husband. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I could just sweet talk him into this, and kind of get over on your husband. We always like we can do that, ladies. I can't no longer do that with him. So I'm at that point in a relationship, like, I'll try it, and as soon as he'll agree to it, I'm like thinking in my head, I won. He'll quickly tell me, Just let you know I really did think that was a good idea. That's why I said yeah. So you thinking that you got over him, it didn't work. So he quick to tell me. So once you and him get to that point of good communication, I tell your relationship will be great. So if you and him cannot talk one-on-one, seek the help. I advise you to. It does wonders because it makes your relationship so much better when you two can communicate and get your points across to each other without having a big argument and no talking and silence. So I am so glad me and my husband are past that point. I'm not saying we don't argue, we don't cut up, we don't fight, but we just learn how to do it the right way now. We've been together so long where we know what to do kind of now. So thank you so much, Confused, for your letter. I hope I gave you some good advice to help you. Like I said, it doesn't seem like you have a relationship to just throw away. You know, you had a family, you have a husband who I'm going to say loves you, because what man will get up every day and go and work as hard as he do for his family and not nag you about going to go work, you getting a job, and he doesn't mind taking care of you guys? That says a lot about him and his character. So, think about the things that you have going on internal with yourself, and then you can address the issues that you and him have with each other as well. Because I'm sure there's some little resentment between the both of you, especially with the no sex part, because for a man not to want to have sex with you, it's something he's resenting against you, because I don't know a man that does not want sex. I just don't. So please get that help. All right. So that is the letter. Again, thank you so much, Confused, for it. So with that, I'm going to bring this episode to a close. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to tune into episode 3, which will be dropping on February the 10th. I'll be joined by a special guest, and I can't wait for you guys to hear the conversation that we'll be having. So please go to iTunes, Spotify, whatever platform that you listen to your podcast on, and subscribe. Go to Facebook and like and follow Convos with Ree. Go to Instagram, follow Convos with Ree _ YouTube, Convos with Ree. And if you guys want to write in, have any topics you want to hear discussed, or you need any advice, write into convoswithree@gmail.com. I look forward to getting those letters. I love getting those letters, and I thank you guys who've written in so far. Thank you so much. And I'm going to leave you with this episode's self-love quote. To fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. Bye, and see you guys on the next episode.